Good qualification time, 2:12.03, but Hotsu and Jacobos and Taylor, 4:56, the ones to look for. Good clean reaction time right from the very start, and you can see that Katinka Hotsu in the incredibly demanding butterfly. Hotsu has got to react, she has done. Good kick off the wall, but Jacobos is holding on. Perhaps a little bit choppier in her style. Look at Hotsu though, powering through in this final 50 meters. Hotsu, the championship leader, has left it late. Jacobos tries just to put on an extra bit of a surge, but Hotsu who increases the momentum. Hotsu will get a touch just first, but Jacobos pushes her all the way.
Yeah, very close there. You can see Jacobos was really, I'm sure, pleased to show everyone in the audience just how much grit and determination she's got. There's a little bit of a perhaps misconception at times that you have to be a very specific shape to be an elite swimmer. You can see from the swimmers in lane 4 and 5, there's a big difference there.
Chunky and lean and long.
Lean and long and, yeah, fairly small and explosive.
50-meter dash. Reaction time so important. We're looking at Mike Andrew, lane 5. Morozov in lane 4. Morozov it is who's got off to the explosive start that you were suggesting. Morozov leads by half a body length. Morozov ahead of Mike Andrew in lane 3. Condorelli. But Morozov from start to finish. That is explosive from Vladimir Morozov.
Wow. That's really fast. That's really fast.
21:27, a new World Cup record set here in Singapore. Reaction times are what we're looking out for, and the 15-meter mark as well. 50-meter backstroke, a high dive from Emily Seaborn. And breaking first is Seaborn, although she hasn't got things all her own way, because Holly Barrett also made a good start, but Seaborn looks like she's recovered.
Yeah, very strong start from Barrett there. She's still holding the lead. Seaborn with a slightly slower stroke rate, but obviously catching a bit more water coming through. It looks like Holly Barrett actually might be holding on.
Holly Barrett is looking like she's going to touch first, and there is a bit of an upset. It is Barrett from Stephanie Au, and Seaborn has to look out for only 3rd place. Stephanie Au, terrific swim from the Hong Kong woman in lane number 3, and a real upset here in Singapore. Emily Seaborn has to be content with 3rd. B final for the men's 400 meters. Singaporean interest in lane number 3 for Darren Chan. But we'll be introducing them one by one. Gary Pagino of the Philippines. Alongside Pagino will be Rino Saputra, who won his heat earlier on this morning. S9 classification. And then Darren Chan. That was the cheers you heard from the crowd.
That's the sound of a home crowd right there. Darren hyping himself up for his race.
Alongside him is a lad who's made it over the border, Dawan Fredan from Malaysia in lane 4. He's the fastest in terms of the pool on 5:01.07. Alongside him is Steven Swalang from Indonesia. Then Arnel Abba from the Philippines, an S9 category swimmer. 5:25.77. Himanshu Nandal from India, an S11 swimmer.
A reminder that the S11 swimmers have the tappers to tell them when they're touching the wall.
Those highly sophisticated pieces of machinery.
I could never buy them anywhere.
The tennis ball and a stick. And Sardar in lane 8 for Uzbekistan. Bakhtiarov given his full nomenclature. Right, B final. Classes S6 to S14, all represented. Again, 8 lengths of the pool. Good dive from Darren Chan, and Darren Chan is the first to emerge in an early lead.
If I remember this morning, he went off very quickly as well and faded quite significantly after 200 meters. But this time,
It seems a little bit more controlled.
it does seem a lot more controlled, doesn't it?
Definitely had a good feedback session with his coach, I'm sure.
Swalong inside of him, and Darren Chan from Singapore will turn in first place. And he's posted a first lap of 31.05. Quite right, he was inside 30 seconds if I recall, or just on 30 seconds, so he's slowed things down by a good second. It does look more controlled.
Definitely, by a mile. I hope this means that he's able to post a much better time than this morning. He has the second highest number of points for the heats.
Well, he's going to turn in P1, and his split time of 1:07.24 will be just under 4 seconds clear of Dawan Freiden and Swalong. So it's very much an ASEAN battle for P3, 4 and 5. Darren is still looking nice and composed.
400 is definitely not an easy race to swim. Control is sometimes hard to have, especially when you're so excited to just race.
So his first 50 meters was 1:01. He's 1:44, 1:45.35 through 1:50. And his lead is just being snicked away. And the stroke rate is slowing from Darren as we come into midpoint.
People often underestimate just how hard it is to control, you know, how much you put into a lap and how much to give for the next lap and the next lap. It's all about control, and it's a lot of training that goes into it.
Plus the adrenaline that he'll get, the adrenaline surge. When his name was announced, there was a big surge in the crowd, and he's got to control that. But his lead is there at 200 meters, but the lead, which was at one stage 5 seconds, has been whittled down to just 2 seconds, and Dawan Freiden and Swalong are now very, very close into his wake. But he's still looking controlled, Darren, and no matter where he finishes, I think he's learned some lessons from the heats into the finals this afternoon.
And we just had Darren's coach walk past us with his laptop, looking very, very, very focused.
But did he look happy or did he look glum?
He looks uncertain.
Darren is still going to be leading through 250. There's Darren, 3:03.28, just half a second clear of Dawan Freiden. And Dawan is also just beginning to fatigue a little bit. The breathing is still looking controlled though. In P3 we have got Swalong. In P4 Arnel Abba has just turned 3:23.63.
All athletes looking a little tired, but I think they're due to start speeding up anytime now.
So into the final 100. At 300, the turn is at 3:41.89. Darren Chan has been leading from the very first dive. At the moment, it's almost fingertip stuff, but he's still looking good there and ready, perhaps, if he's been able to save something for the final stanza 2 years ago.
He looks like he's sped up his leg kicking just a little bit. You know, in these moments, you kind of feel like it's a computer game and you just want to get them to go faster.
Darren's an S14 swimmer, Dawan an S10 competitor, and it will be Dawan who just turns in first for the very first time, although the split time is just 400ths clear. A good bounce off the wall for Darren Chan, and it looks like he's got a surge of energy, and the Singaporean may well be urged home in this B final of the 400. 25 meters to go. Darren Chan, is he able just to keep the leg kick going? He's under pressure from Dawan. His coach is urgently urging him on, but Dawan is able to just increase his stroke speed, and Dawan and Darren Chan working a final sprint for the line from Darren Chan, and touches first. 580 points for Darren. That is the leader in the B final, and he is a happy fella.
That is an amazing improvement from the morning heats.
He and his coach, who's just going in front of us, a big punch, thrilled to bits.
Just about 11 seconds off his morning heat time. I'm sure he's more than happy, and him and his coach.
And as we look at the other swimmers coming through, lane number 6 has just finished. That's 267 points. Over on the far side, lane number 1, which is Gary Pagino. He's just going to come through. Gary Pagino has got a chance to take this one. And Gary Pagino, 653 points, is the new winner of this B final. Nonetheless, well done for Darren Chan. Wasn't able to quite clinch it. 653 points for Gary Pagino. It was a fine win for the Filipino. A time of 5:43.67.
Nonetheless, still all amazing races here today at the OCBC Aquatic Centre.
But it will be second place in this B final. I was getting a bit excited. I was thinking it was a podium, but it's the B final, isn't it? But it's a B podium.
It's still a win. It's still second place. And an amazing time. Improvement from the morning heats, for sure.
I think that's the most impressive thing, isn't it? The control right from the very first, from the first dive to the first length to the first emergence, and the control that he showed right the way through from the first 50 in the first turn.
For sure. Being able to see the improvements that he's made just from morning to now is just speaking for what more to us to expect in the future.
So you put a big marker on your back there, Darren. That's the bad news. The good news is it's very, very encouraging.
This is Yiping Siu's brother and sister-in-law on the screen.
Right with the sister, finding out where the camera was. Here are the highlights of a thrilling B final. The man in lane 3 is the man that we were really very much focused on, Darren Chan from Singapore. He was leading by 5 seconds at 100. It was down to 3 seconds at 200. It was level pegging when they turned into 300, but he was able to hold on to touch first. A real good acceleration right at the end from Darren Teresa. And then he had to wait for Gary Pagino to work his way through to pick up the points in a time of 5:43.67. So a Philippines victory in the B final. But real kudos for Darren Chan for picking up P2. As we are just about to confirm, 653 points, 580 points gives Darren plenty to work with. The time inside 5 minutes. Dawan Freedom, good battle there, good cross-causeway battle. Dawan can be proud of his evening's work as well.
Ladies and gentlemen.